Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to your reading. Let's get into it. Okay, hold on. Let me just always gotta check. Check, check, check. And microphone's stopped working, which is annoying. Although actually, mm, maybe they're charged by now. Let me check. Oh my God, Charlie horse, I keep getting because I keep putting my foot in this same position. Yeah. I just go through the pain. It's fine. Kind of. It's a good one. No, it's a bad one. So annoying. It's like $500. I paid for this microphone and it's two microphones, thank God. Why this one? Okay, this one's good. It's still charging. Set this up. Microphone.
This one. No. This one. This one. This one. Why is it not hearing me? Why is it not? Oh, is on mute? Okay, let me just make sure. Test. Test, 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 test. Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. Let's see how much it can pick up. Test. If I'm over here, does it pick it up? Wow, that's crazy. Over the other side of the room, you can barely hear me, microphone. And here you over here you definitely. And here, of course. Wow, what a good microphone. All right, cool. Let's get down. Let's get down to business. All right. I have the chart here. I actually started doing your chart the other night and I was too tired. Well, not too tired. It was just really late. And I was on fire. I'm still on fire. So that's good news. Let's share it for a second. Yeah, it was like 6 a.m. or something. It's like, it's a little late. One second. So what's this? Okay, put that away. All right. So, anyways, let's get into it. I just need to check. I'll check that in a sec. So we have a chart that changes a bunch from whole sign to Placidus. I have switched back to Placidus, but I still incorporate whole sign. But anyways, so Aries Pisces, a combo I love. So this will probably be a faster read than normal because because as I said, I did do 20 to 30 minutes of your chart. So I had your chart already downloaded in my brain 2 nights ago. I just was like, I'm not going to finish this, So maybe I'll get a rare, 90-minute reading. I think my record is like 80 minutes. And it's never compromising the quality. But it's just tough for me. I get into too much of a zone. But anyways, okay, wow. So you got South Node. Did I just see this? No, I saw South Node with Neptune and Sag. Okay, very cool. So let's start with the karma. So overall, it's very interesting, right? Because you are someone who I just had the same nodal axis, but Uranus on the south node is very, very interesting to me because it's in the 11th house too. So in Sagittarius, like to me, sometimes when I do readings, I like to kind of work my way kind of from the inside out, and sometimes I like to start from the outside and kind of work my way in. Not really work my way in, like start from the outside, then go in. It's like, or like little outside, big picture, like just kind of like wrap around the big picture, then details. I have my own style. I love it. It's fun, and I also kind of change it up whenever, just based on my kind of what I'm feeling. I'm feeling. So, anyways, um, yeah. So Uranus with the South Node is very, very interesting. The South Node is your past life tendency, the been there, done that. So the sign Sagittarius might be a sign that you have no placements in, but you might connect very well with the sign. It might be a sign that you feel something with, right? And also Aquarius. Now you do have, yeah. So basically, like South Node with Uranus. Uranus is like the genius energy. It's the road less, the archetype of the road less traveled, the person who's willing to be different, etc. And South Node in Sagittarius is the person who, and it's 11th house too. So that is actually a trauma signature in astrology. Um, Let me see, 9, 9, mutable, mutable. Don't worry about when I say these kind of 10 things. Okay, so you have, yeah, okay, I see. So I think that there's some difficult, like there could have been something past life wise around being screwed over in relationships, which might manifest in certain ways with relationships in this life. But we'll talk about that later. Um, you know, it really, like, I think that self-esteem, and it's in the second house to the Venus. So it's like, and then the sun's there. So you see, this is why I like to work my way in, because I see like why I look at the karma and I get a glimpse of that. And then I'm like, okay, well, what, like in my opinion, you have the placements you have, we have the placements we have today because of our karma. So if I can understand the karma, then I can understand, okay, like why is this person a pipe, like have placements they do, like the sun, the moon, all that. So I already see that the sense of self-esteem, um, there's some issues there. And I wouldn't be surprised if it came from being betrayed in some way from a lover or something like that. And how that may have really caused a lot of pain and maybe led to some dysfunction in this life. Your Venus is square Uranus, yeah, which could lead to some, yeah. I mean, it's square, yeah. It's a karmic aspect, right? So yeah, so basically, like commitment issues is the first thing that comes up, and I usually don't really get into romance early, but like it's really calling to me. So it could be like really difficult for the Uranus square Venus person, even with a very romantic sign like Pisces Venus, which is just like the lover, the romantic, but especially with the Pisces moon, and we'll get into that later about some of like the beauty of it, but also like what you need to watch out for. Um, but like with Uranus, it's like it can sometimes make relationships feel like a prison, and maybe there's something there, right? Maybe there's this karma where, like because South Node in Sag, it's like the philosopher, the past life philosopher, and Uranus is the person who is willing to be different. So I wouldn't be surprised if you were someone who spoke out, who's like a revolutionary, and maybe had got in trouble in some type of way because of that. So and then maybe like, so I'm not going to try to give you like a past life story, right? But maybe like there was some loss of self-love, um because people that you thought who would ride for you didn't ride for you the most important times, and then maybe that could create, we'll see what the whole chart says, right? But like that could create an attitude, where commitment's difficult. um yeah. And as but like there's a lot of dynamics to that. So I'm throwing things out. I'm putting the puzzle pieces around. You have the Mars and Scorpio, so yeah, Moon and Pisces. So there's a lot. Even Venus and Pisces. It's just like, you know with love, like understanding that a lot of the dynamics are very karmic, and that whatever comes up, especially with Black and Lilith in Pisces, like there can be like a potential, and you always have to watch out for like tying too much of your self worth, like based on like money and more materialistic type of stuff like that. Now you're born in 84, so let me guess, your Chiron's probably gonna be in Taurus, right? Everyone that I'm doing is Chiron in Taurus. Let's see, and yep, it's 29 degrees Taurus. That's 10 out of the last 11, something like that. Crazy. So yeah, so with the Uranus, it's really important to understand, yeah, because like relationships can, when they're too clingy and stuff like that, they can feel like a prison. So you need to understand, like, okay, well, I need to like it's like the person that just doesn't want to commit, or like has trouble with commitment now, and you might be hearing this and being like, that's not me, I'm good. Well, stick with it. I'm piecing everything together, because it doesn't always show up like that, but it's like someone who needs freedom in relationships, because when they don't have that, and I have this too in my chart, right? So like not the same thing, but the same kind of energy. It feels like you're in some type of like prison, right? When someone is just trying to control you and all that, and it can really bring back past life dynamics that are very traumatic. So I just want to put that out there. Now, you do have a lot of past life genius energy, like very inventive, and you have this ability to like be that person that's willing to be very brave, and to kind of be the leader, and be be that more like eccentric person who dares to do different than what they're commanded to do by society. So, you're a revolutionary at heart. Now, with that said, you have a very deep spiritual side, like a very spiritual chart, like very. You have Neptune and Jupiter in the 12th house. So, and then your Pisces moon and Pisces Venus. So, so you karmically, you naturally have this ability to, like, you have this amazing ability to tap into the collective unconscious, whether it's through your dreams, meditations, just everyday life, but also you have a lot of spiritual protection, and you have deep insights. So like you as a psychologist, you as a healer, anything related to helping people understand themselves and their psyche, like you have a huge advantage. Now, it's beautiful to be a Pisces moon, because Pisces moons, like Pisces moons are so sensitive and they're so tapped in, but they are sponges for energy, right? And your moon is square Chiron, so that could be a mother wound. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But a lot of times there's like a deep emotional wound that person is meant to be a healer for other people, because like to showcase their healing journey. And you have Mars opposite Chiron, so that's a T square, um, with Chiron, Moon, Mars, and it's the apex is the Moon, meaning that shoots out in Virgo. So when we put that together, you know, Mars square Moon is basically, especially Mars and Scorpio, with a more peaceful moon sign like Pisces, and a very controlled ascendant like Capricorn, but then a very explosive sun sign Aries. It's really like important for you to know, to have a very deep psychological insight, to have very deep psychological insight into yourself. Because when Moon squares Mars, little temper tantrums or big temper tantrums, especially Mars and fucking Scorpio, like Jesus Christ, like it can come from nowhere. It seemingly out of nowhere, right? So the person with this chart that's like the unevolved person with their same chart, let's say it's a baby that was born right next to you. Let's say they're unevolved. Like they could just be the kind of person that would just have like these massive scorpionic, like go dig so deep, you know. And this is a great Mars placement, by the way. I'm just saying an example. Like it just goes so deep into that person, and on a psychological level just destroys them right out of nowhere. So it's like really important to know that and to track your resentments, because like as an Aries sons, Aries in general can be very childish. Sometimes they can be very impulsive. I love Aries, by the way, and they're not all childish. I'm saying some, but like in the sense that they act. and then think later. So that's why like you should watch my YouTube video. The first one of my new Cosmos series called what what each opposite sign what you have to learn from your opposite sign. Watch the Aries Libra section. You'll learn a ton. Um, but yeah, anyways, like the main thing is like learning diplomacy, learning tact, learning to see from other people's view. And you lack air in your chart, and your north node is in air. So that I see, and I'm like, wow, because your north node in astrology represents where you're supposed to go to, right? Like the mountain you have not climbed in past lives. Think of destiny. This is where I base a lot of my readings on the north node. So in Gemini, that's an air sign. So when you have no air in your chart besides the north node, which is not a planet, it's a hypothetical point, right? Based on the apogee of the moon, you are not getting much help from the rest of your chart in terms of what you're trying to accomplish. So you have to look other places. You should definitely do breath work. That I'm going to say 1,000,000%. Working with your breath, but also journaling, writing, communicating with people from different walks of life. Having a creative outlet like writing is literally like maybe the best thing I could see in your chart. Like, or what, not best thing, like the just most amazing healing. Not just writing, but just communicating. Even if you like film yourself and you're vlogging, especially as a Pisces, Neptune rules the phone, camera, excuse me. So if you film yourself just talking about you know how I do my videos sometimes, I don't release them all, like where I'm just talking. It's not about astrology necessarily. Sometimes it is like that kind of thing, right? Where it's like a vlog where you're pretending in your imagination, like that you're some YouTuber or something, and like people want to see what you have to say about your life, like your life is a movie or something, and you don't show anyone, but it's very healing. Or what I started doing is like, especially when I want to send like a message to someone, but I'm not really sure like how to say it, or like if I don't want to just send it, I'll go on WhatsApp and my friend showed me this. I'll send a voice note to myself. Like this is magic. And a lot of the times, like there's this thing that happens. I noticed, I think that when you send that message out, the universe hears it. And it's like the other person doesn't always have to hear that, especially if it's rooted in anger or if it's like, you're not really sure how you're going to come off, all that stuff. Anyways, so yeah, so as a Pisces moon, which like I said, you need to spend alone. Alone time is very beneficial for you. You have a lot of protection and you gain a lot from it. But as a Pisces moon, you're so sensitive to the undercurrents of the world that even as a healer, you can, it's like how you have energetic boundaries and how do you not give. So part of your life is about learning to receive, right? Now, with the North Node Gemini, going back to that, right? You that's about like air energy. I'm going to put it more than just Gemini is about understanding other people's perspectives, like understanding like being communicative to people of like of all walks of life. Like sometimes the South Node in Sag people, I'm going to switch cameras here, they have this attitude that what they know is it. There's nothing more that matters, right? And or not nothing more that matters. They like just like the their truth is the truth, right? And hold on. So basically what I'm saying is that like with that nodal placement, right? It's just very, very important to not have that mindset that I am like what I know is it, you want to move into something a little bit different, right? Where it's just more so I'm open, even if I don't necessarily respect what this person is saying, I'm open, even if I think that I'm more intelligent. And look, I'm not saying this in a way of a demeaning way. It's just the reality. South Node and Sagittarius with Uranus on conjunct is going to be someone that has innate understanding of deep philosophical, especially with the Pisces moon, you pick up on a lot. Now, um, it can create sort of like an ego though. That's the thing. Um, so it's just important for you to know that, and to really like move away from judgment, and to understand like that everyone has a truth, and it's really really interesting to learn about why someone feels the way they do. Why is their worldview the way it is, right? And just networking also in general, and small talk is with your chart is going to be very you're not going to be into it, right? But like, I'm not saying like getting into shallow small talk, but improving in the sense of being able to, like, let's say, have a conversation, just like a regular conversation, because sometimes it's those regular conversations that get us moving. Now, I want to go back to love because I said something about commitment issues, but then I noticed you have Venus trine Saturn, which is the best placement in all astrology, or like just Venus Saturn in general, for commitment in relationships. So it kind of goes back and forth. So it's like the way I would see that now is that you need someone who is really really intellectually stimulating to you, who's like, you might enjoy someone who, like, it's really their mind that gets you, like you're like your curiosity, they're not just some boring person, right? And of course no one wants someone boring, but like they need to have that extra something, and then you can really commit like none other to that person, right? And have long, like Venus trine Saturn is a very good indication for a long lasting marriage. I just need to send this video real quick to my client who's been waiting. um all right. Where is it? Okay. So annoying, my internet died. So I have to send it in two parts. Okay. Hear back from you soon. Okay, boom, sent. So, anyways, yeah. So just like the more that you can move towards that energy, the better. And also just like um, you know, with respect to alone time, right? Like, you are an Aries Pisces. So there is a part of you that's meant to be a trailblazer, pioneer, a leader, the courageous person, that fire energy, right? Um, but like also it's like when you have a fire, like I'm also fire water, right? Or water fire. I'm a Pisces Sag. So it's like understanding that these are two very different energies, and that you have to feed both mouths, and both mouths want very different things, right? Pisces wants to be alone. It's very affected by other people's energies. So where you live is very important. A lot of Pisces moons love to live by water. Um, they really, really love it. And they, negative people should just be nowhere around you. Especially like people who kind of tick you off and get on your nerves. Now, I would say with the Mars square, Mars and Scorpio square, moon, that like working out or yoga or meditation, anything that gets you, that gets you really like burns energy, but also gets you in touch with that, like where you're really mindful. Mindfulness is so important with that aspect, right? Because what can happen, and yeah, and it shoots out eighth house Virgo, which is like, you the T square, right? It's just the healing of the T square, which is like basically saying that to deal with, like, this moon square Chiron, which is just like about the wound, right? Feeling misunderstood. Usually it's by the own mother. And kind of like the process of like being able to like rise above that pain, and learn emotional healing techniques that can help other people. Especially like, Chiron and can't in Taurus is very much about it's very much about self-esteem, right? Sense of self-worth, self-esteem, etc. So rising above that is important, very, very important. Um, Now, so the fact that it shoots out where it shoots out um is interesting, right? Because it basically tells us that Virgo, which represents your day, like what you do on the day to day, right? Your consist like your ability to be consistent, your spiritual, physical, mental health, like your routine as it relates to those is very important. So it kind of goes with what I was saying with like the gym or meditation, etc. Now, also eighth house, it's like that's your deep shadow work. So like the more you go within, the more you're able, like I was just saying with mindfulness, right? The more you go within, you understand yourself, you have insight about yourself, the better. Damn, this is like literally I can tell the one of my most efficient readings I've done in forever. I love it's crazy. It's probably because I already spent 20 or 30 minutes on this chart before doing this. But yeah. So with that said, even your Mercury, right, which is quincunx Mars and trine Neptune opposite Pluto. Like, okay, so Mars in Aries opposite Pluto. Let's talk about that. Or Mercury, excuse me. Mercury is your communication, how you think. Think, speak. So yes, Mercury Pluto is very amazing. Any Mercury Pluto, because like when you can become very obsessed with different subjects. You can probe deep, like it's like the investigator, especially Mars in Scorpio as well. It's like, when you get into something, you can become very obsessed. Like, let's say you want to like learn astrology one on one with me, which I do classes. Um, you know, you have that like little fireball of energy like in your pocket you can grab out, and it's just like what's small but so powerful. It's like Pluto. It's small. Yeah. So, but what can happen here is that like it can make someone become very obsessed with their own ideas, and they can relentlessly just throw them onto other people, which can lead to lots of like very fiery arguments, right? Mars or Mercury in Aries, it isn't the best at let's say thinking before it speaks typically, but it is a third house Mercury, which is all like everyone with that is super intelligent, um, that I've come across at least. So, with that said, um, there can be a level of, a lot of people with that, they attract arguments, um, kind of dark arguments sometimes. And it's just about, and this is a theme in your chart, cooling it down, right? Um, so yeah, like so yeah, I think like there like with Pluto, everything is about rebirth, death, rebirth, transformation. So there will be throughout your life different death, rebirth, transformations around your way of thinking, your way of communicating and coming across, right? Which with your North Node in Gemini, that's about asking you to get better at the basics of conversation, right? You're very good at like the big picture ideas. Now it's like how can you get good at like, because it's like how good, let's say you have all the knowledge and wisdom in the world, right? Which you might, but like if you lack the ability to have like, the good small, I'm not saying you're bad at this, right? Like this is all potentials. Um, like, um, like what good is it if you can't communicate it, right? So it's about learning. It's taking small steps in that respect. Um, yeah, but like this can also give like a lot of mental chatter, kind of negative, dark thoughts, and it's just important to like it's just like ultimately like really like pushing one towards the shadow work to understand where these come from, and um yeah, so overall, um yeah, overall. but also it gives a lot of intelligence, like psychological intelligence, in like being able to like kind of see through someone, like especially your Mars and Scorpio. So you have this like natural psychologist energy built in. Expect you have so much of this in your chart. Like you're made to be a healer. If that's not what you do already, healer, it's a big umbrella term for like something where you're working with people, like in the way I'm working with you right now, right? You're whatever that version is, like helping people within themselves understand themselves better. But like there can be like a lot of misunderstandings with this. And sometimes people can be a little bit intimidated by like the mind that you have and like the intensity, and that probing and wanting to know the truth and what's beneath the surface and all of that, and the research that can, it's a very very discriminating mind, but people can be very intimidated by it, right? So just being able to like really observe and analyze what's really hidden in the world. And that can just bring issues with people because people don't want to be called out for their bullshit. And sometimes this can create someone who calls people out on their bullshit, especially with Mars and Scorpio, which let's talk about, right? Mars and Scorpio is the best Mars placement, or I don't like to say the best in astrology, but it is, the dignity position of Mars. Well, it's Aries and Scorpio, right? Like, Scorpio could say Pluto, but like, yeah, it's still an amazing Mars placement. Like, so, you know, um, first of all, you don't want to be enemies with Mars and Scorpio. Fuck no. Um, but Mars is about action, right? It's like our what we move towards naturally. It's like our animal instinct, right? So Mars and Scorpio, they want to dive deep within themselves. They want to understand themselves. They want to penetrate themselves. They want to penetrate the unconscious, the occult. They want to move towards rebirth. They're not here to mess around, right? They're spiritual warriors, right? So, yeah, the low side can be like the controlling, the drama, the conflict, the manipulation, all that stuff. But really, that's just like the low manifestation of it, right? Um, they are very good at seeing through, like I said, seeing through people's bullshit. Um, and kind of transforming throughout their life their action and the way. So sometimes they might start off their life in like more the destructive kind of like intense, like too much on other people type of energy that can be very intimidating, but they'll learn to be more like that Taurus opposite energy, which is more chill, more at peace, right? But still with the penetrating energy and that desire, that like that endurance, that endurance to be able to like when they put their mind to that, to whatever it is, they can just go go go. Also Mars and Scorpio, let's be honest, super sexual and passionate in that respect, right? Like they don't want anything surface level. They want that deep soul connection, and they don't want to waste their time on things. They want to do things that matter. Like it's like you can't turn the bullshit meter off. Scorpio Mars, right? Sometimes I think Scorpio Mars people are like more Scorpio than Scorpios. Like I swear, like not always, but um now sometimes they can fear this like transformation, right? That it can lead them towards. Um, but yeah, it's just like they're really really good at understanding like what makes a person react on like an emotional and conscious level, and like on a low end they can use that to their advantage, right? So if someone like that's why I'm saying with your Mars square moon, if you get ticked off, especially as a sensitive Pisces moon, that Mars and Scorpio like you have like is so powerful, it knows exactly what to say to just fuck someone up, you know at the same time, it's very secretive, right? Because it understands the darker side of people. And I'm not saying that you have a cynical energy towards people in general. I'm saying that like it's based on realism. Look at the world we live in, right? People will turn on you in a second. So it's like it would tend to. and this is what's important with your moon where it is, right? Um, in Pisces is that energetic boundaries are not good typically. Uh, I mean, they can be, right? As you move, if as it progresses and whatnot, and like you learn about the opposite sign of Pisces, which is Virgo. Um, and you get good at like understanding, okay, I need to have really really solid energetic boundaries, because if I don't, I'm going to be swept around. And Pisces can be very chameleon like, so on an emotional level you could pick up emotions that aren't even yours, especially from like your mother, father, like if they were like not nerd, if there's any negative emotions early on, Pisces moons can take on a lot that's not theirs, think it's theirs. So it's like really looking back at that. So like once again, you see this major theme here about how the karma of your chart is pushing you towards this this real look within. Is interesting, right? So, and you said focus on career and romantic relationships. Okay, interesting. So yeah, of course, yeah, it's all about finding truth at the end of the day. Truth within, and then truth, yeah, without. But Scorpio is more within, Sag is more without, but whatever. Like um the point is, like, like, yes, they can be jealous, obsessed, all that stuff, right? um I think that at their core they just know they're not gonna settle for bullshit, you know and they're not gonna, like, if someone's unfaithful, because they're very very loyal, right? They're ride or die. So if someone's unfaithful, they're out. So I mean, yeah. So I think like being able to let go is really really important, and if there is like abandonment issues, then it can be really really difficult in love. But and also like looking out for like what your relationship is to power. Like, is there an obsession for power? And understand that real power is within, right? It's within. Hold on, I need to get 1 second. So real power is within. Low vibe Scorpio energy, it's like, you know, trying to dominate other people via their power, right? Like, look at people. Perfect, perfect example right now. Um, just someone who yeah, you seen the news, I'm sure. Maybe not everyone watches well, not the news, social media. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of like I would say about Mars and Scorpio. I mean, like, I think that, yeah, I mean, people can be very intimidated by that energy, because it's like they know that they're not gonna get away with bullshit. So yeah, it's very very good. Um, it is making a, let's see. So yeah, there's one thing, like, okay, so you have to watch out for scattering your energy um in general, like not making like so many plans, and like that goes back with your nodal stuff too. Your nodes, like, where it's like the need to like really really dial in, instead of just like having like being the person that starts this and never finishes, like to not do that, right? Like, it's a quest karmically for you, like I said before, to become very good at communication, to see life from other people's point of view, to hold your horses, and to like be able to communicate, like going from Aries to Libra, right? Like, the balance, like seeing, okay, this is where I'm at now. What, like, without air, it's hard to do this, right? This is your karmic destiny. This is what you're trying to do. So okay, so I wonder how, like, okay, like, what would this person feel? Hmm. And you have Uranus on your south node, so like that does help you. And the third house, yeah. So you do have the ability to understand this. It's just like being able to get away from your own subjective emotions, and being able to like have that space and that objectivity. Because there can be a tendency to be rather restless, scattered, as I said before. So it's about developing that focus. And like I said before, that ability to communicate your ideas in that way that really helps people. And I think like your own creative endeavors can be an amazing place. Also, children, if that's something that you have, something if you have children. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what I would say is that like having a Capricorn rising makes Saturn rule your chart. Saturn is yeah in a best position possible on the midheaven. So that's like the boss energy. Um, so having Scorpio on the midheaven is the best place you can have Scorpio. It's your right. So you're very strong. Like you have this energy that people feel like you're the responsible one. You're the elder. Now, that doesn't mean that you didn't have to go through a bunch, you know, like like your journey to success, which I imagine you are successful. Um, it wasn't necessarily easy, right? And when I say I imagine you're successful, like Saturn takes time. It gets better with age. And it's not successful. I'm not saying that in the sense of like um, you know, how everyone else uses it. But Saturn midheaven people, like they're the people that are looked upon by others as the bosses or as the voice, the responsible ones, right? So um yeah. So that's kind of how I would say that. Um and Capricorn risings, so like yeah, like it's interesting because Cap risings sometimes you would think they have like a Scorpio energy to them a lot of times, especially on social media because the midheaven is Scorpio, but because you have Capricorn there, yeah, I mean that's just really good for business, really really good for being able to you know be that voice of command in life. I don't know how else to say it. And it's at yeah, so it's right on there. And yeah, and then having Mars in the 10th house, it's just like, and that's one, yeah, 11, 10, yeah, or wait, 1, 12, yeah. So that is just like firepower towards your career, towards your career slash your dharma, right? Like the passionate warrior energy, um, and that just this very deep ambition and very very someone who wants like that autonomy and independence in what they do in their profession, and they're kind of a fighter, a go-getter, hustler. And then Saturn is like the CEO, the boss, the king, not the king but like the person that has that appearance and that energy of the boss, and sometimes they move into that later in life. So as an Aries, that's also a great leadership position, but second house sun. So that, a lot of second house suns, they it's really important to have a good balance between your metaphysical, like what you value with metaphysical values and um materialistic, and not being too far in one way, right? Um so yeah, it's all about like self-esteem, learn like once again learning to like really valuing yourself, right? And Venus there helps that out a lot. But like I said, I think in relationships it's like the question is it's just like valuing yourself in relationships, right? Like because like when we talk about Venus and Pisces, like with Venus with Pisces moon, it's like that's the person who has the potential to see love in rose colored glasses and see the potential as opposed to the reality of the individual, right? So it's like it's so important for them to to take things slow and to know that there is that potential for them to not be seeing things clearly, right? To be sort of seeing what they want to see and seeing that person for who they could be. And it can create this like, oh, this is my soulmate type energy. And then later it's like, oh shit, it wasn't that, right? I'm guilty of this. I have Neptune in the fifth house, and I'm a Pisces, so it happened to me a lot. But you know, with Black Moon Lilith there with Venus, I think that like all like in Pisces, it's like the lower energy is escapism, and that's a thing with Pisces too, is that they can, especially once they've been hurt, they can sort of like like kind of run away from emotions, not want to like reveal things, not want to open up, like especially if they've been like hurt, right? And like I said, you have the past life like pain, right? So it's like it can just be really tough to kind of open up, and it can be very unconscious, it can be very unconscious and open up slash show their authentic self. So the best way that you can like deal with this is like boundaries, not allowing energetic vampires in. So taking your time, maybe if you have like a friend that has like who you really trust their opinion, let's say you meet someone and maybe you're married, right? But you said love life in your thing, so I imagine not. um or maybe you are, who knows? Like you meet someone, let's say you're really fond of them, whatever, blah 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 blah, going out with your friend, like having your friends meet them at some point and seeing what your friend thinks, your friend that maybe is like a more earthy, like kind of like very realistic, maybe too realistic, but like maybe even cynical, but just seeing. But that Mars and Scorpio, that will help you a lot, though. I have to say that. I have to say that, right? But it's like, can you listen to that Mars and Scorpio when you're in that, um, you know, when you're in that place of romance? Because like the thing about Pisces Venus is that they really do want that perfection in love, right? They seek that out, and um yeah, so that's kind of the thing there, is that no one's perfect, and they want to like be, you have a lot in your chart that's like about like, yes, there can be some stuff that I said that where there's like commitment. I don't really see that with like more of the other stuff, but it's like it's that you're that soulmate. They want to be like, be at one with the universe through their love, through their partner. It's like the thing is like being able to find that without the partner, right? And when you're able to do that, as that's when, like, of course there's a certain magic that exists in romance, but like when you're able to do that without the need for someone, like some people, I see in their charts like where it's like they don't have, I don't really see like this in their charts, like they don't have like a passion or something that they hold. But like when someone, I think, in my opinion, and it's very, very hard, right? And I'm guilty of it. I'll be the first to say that, like, when I meet a girl, like if I met, so I was talking about my last stream about this painting about today, like that's like my exact type. I really pray I made a girl that looks exactly like this, but she's a good person. Or not exactly, but just this kind of energy. Um, yeah, it's amazing. She's so beautiful. But like, I'll be the first to admit that it's difficult, right? It's difficult to not just like be blown away, because you're feeling this love energy, this Neptunian energy, like this feeling of oneness with the divine, and you're feeling the love energy, but it's through another person. Really, as you know, that other person, it's so easily said, but hard to like really internalize. It's like the love is an energy, just like hate, um just like discomfort, just like um when something's fun, I mean, different, but you know what I mean, like they're different flavors, right? I guess there is just love and fear, but like at the end of the day, you're feeling love, but it's through someone else, which is really they're a representation of you, right? They're a representation of you. And it really isn't about, um it's when you realize that, like, with or without someone in your life, you're still, you are still God. And that person, if they come, they are not going to fix your problems. It's like the same thing with people who think that, like, when they're making all this money, that they're going to be happy. And then they make the money and then they're just more depressed than they ever were, because they, like, once, once they realize like, oh shit, I thought this was going to change my life. I thought this was going to make me happy. This is what I work. This is the only thing I cared about. And now, it's like I talk about in my book named Pisces Live Nine Lives. It's on Amazon if you're interested. It's not a book only. It's only 2 chapters are about me out of 18 or 19. But I talk about Tyson Fury, the boxer, and how he trained his whole life. All he trained for was to be the heavyweight champion. Accomplished it, and then fell into a huge like drinking cocaine addiction, and then now he's back to like the top. But like, it's because he thought that this, getting to this point would change him, right? He thought this would be that this would make him like give him that wholeness that he was lacking, and it didn't, and that destroyed him, nearly killed him, right? So that's like kind of how it is with love, is that in relationships we think like, I think by me meeting this beautiful girl, or like the human, if she's a girl that's like that's my dream girl, that she's gonna like save me, or not save me, or make me happy, yeah, of course, like it'll be amazing, but like at the end of the day, she's a human, she has imperfections, she looks perfect, or a girl like that looks to me close to perfect, but like that's just looks, like, so that's what I'm saying, is that like once you get you, just like with money, after a few years of having a lot of money, you get used to it. Maybe what you were eating before was like a $15 meal. Now you're eating a $200 meal, but that becomes the new what you're used to. Maybe you're driving a $10,000 car, and now you're driving a $200,000 car, but you get used to it, right? So it's just material. So what? So none of that actually matters. So it's really about finding that love. Venus and Pisces is the universal love. So it's that ability to have that deep love, that divine love with spirit. And when you have Neptune in the 12th with Jupiter in the 12th, not only are you protected spiritually, and you have this amazing, and it's in Capricorn too. So you can actually make money out of, not in like a bad way, but you can actually earn money, um, in different ways, like linked to spirituality, or like as like a practitioner of some sort, right? But like really, you have this amazing ability, like kind of like you know you're able to really expand your, like you have a lot of honor, spiritual honor, and great insight into like in being able to tap into that collective unconscious, right? And Neptune there, of course, is just like the natural home. So yeah. So I would say that um yeah. Yeah, that's just a few things about that. But really, like, one big thing is like you understanding yourself on that like that you do feel emotions very deeply, and that like you need to like be very, very, have big boundaries with your alone time. um so like learning your emotional boundaries is huge, and also expressing your emotions, right? That's massive as well. um so yeah, but like just knowing like how affected you are by the emotions of other people is so important, and like being able to kind of gauge that. um so also, like, I think that like you have Palace with your moon exact 0.08. So to me, that is someone who um is very strategic, and especially in Pisces, like feels the need to retreat and sort of like create a plan before making any emotional, like like impulsive decision. It's like the born strategist, which is so good for anything business. You think about how good that could be, right? It's like the goddess of war, Pallas Athena, right? So that is a very, very good sign of intelligence and emotional intelligence. That is a Pisces moon. Sometimes they do, especially with the Aries sun, they can be too, like I said, with your Mercury, like so this will help a lot with that, you know and I think that yeah. So, and then Sun trine. Okay, so Sun is square Jupiter. So this one is I have Sun Square Jupiter. I call that the Superman slash Superwoman aspect, where it's like the person who thinks that they're going to walk in the casino and automatically win. So it's like it can be, especially like if there is any kind of like manic, not like in the bipolar way, but like if there's any kind of like real like up and downs, like where you get in like a mood. I don't know other word besides manic, not actually manic, but um, like very, very impulsive, right? Just like knowing like that about yourself and like kind of like not over, I guess that's more Mercury to like over promise, but like not over what's the word? Like spreading yourself too thin, right? Like kind of how I was saying about like starting this, starting this, starting this, starting that, starting this, starting this. Like, yes, I can, yeah, I can do that. Yes, I can do this. Yes, I can do that. Well, guess what? And like your schedule's full, and then you're a Pisces moon. So it's like so fucking hard for you to like actually like, yes, you're Capricorn rising, so that helps you a lot with that ability to like have that schedule and be more grounded than someone like me. But like it's about realism and not having that overly optimistic approach to life, um, which actually is great because it creates very successful people because we shoot for the stars and we get somewhere, somewhere up there. But there can be excessive behavior, right? So it's like learning to not, like I always say with the Sagittarius Gemini axis, it's like instead of focusing on 100 things and being the jack of all trades, master of none, find one or two things that you become a master at, and that's on your karma. You do that, that's huge. So, but yeah, like I would say Sun Square Jupiter is like the person that, yeah, they can definitely reach their goals, especially at Jupiter in Capricorn, right? It's like, I think about that on a high end is like integrity, and someone who I wouldn't say like Capricorn's very traditional, but I'd say someone who like with the Saturn you have, it's like they are the one who's willing to kind of like be the what's the word, the not surveillant, like the teacher, like or like the authority figure, the person who the principal, like, but not in a way of power, in a way of like, like the referee, the person that people come to for order, the person that sets order, right? But yeah, like definitely like your chart has a lot of power in it. And Jupiter 12th house I love because like they are like even during the darkest times they can dig deep into this well of optimism, and they seek meaning and truth from within themselves, which goes along with a lot of the themes we've said in your chart, right? um So yeah, like just that passionate energy of the Mars and Scorpio. And a lot of times they want to fight for causes that they really believe in, or just they really want to go deep and understand the world and everything about it, the world, esoteric, all that, and they transform. They push themselves towards really transforming themselves. And the Pluto, the ruler, is in the ninth house. So to me, that's someone who has a it can become obsessed with a lot of things ninth house related, whether it's travel, but also like really, really like learning and expanding your worldview and trying on different philosophies, trying on different, just whether it's astrology, whether it's this or that, really always wanting to learn because they understand that the more that they learn, the more that they shift their worldview, that they raise their worldview, um, and kind of the mindset of like the more I know, the more I know less, the better they are. So it's like this like obsession to discover the higher meanings in life, right? But like then they have to beware of becoming too dogmatic in their personal philosophies and trying to push them um on other people too much. But um yeah. So yeah, let's see here. So Chiron fourth, I would say a lot of times it's just feeling rejected by your family early on. like kind of painful early home life. I haven't always, and your chart is so crazy in the sense that like it changes so much a whole sign from classes that maybe you'll resonate more. I'll go into like the whole sign in a sec, but it's all about like facing your pain and finding, like I said before, like finding these like inner resources and these ability to heal yourself, that then you through that you're able to heal other people, right? Which is the path of the healer. I see that in so many readings. And you develop so much compassion um, for yourself, first of all, and then for other people as you know, help other people heal your wounds based on your experience healing your own. But that would be one, two, three, four, fifth house in whole sign, nearly six. So to me, that you know, so if we look at different, hold on, let me just go around really quick. Also, I want to say about your very good, like like you have an ability to um be very skillful with your words, like maybe even like poetry, like a poet energy, like someone who can just like really blend their speech with imagination, so that there is with your Aries Mercury like a softness from the trine with Mercury to it. um and that's like maybe even like a psychic ability potentially, or very high intuition potential, right? Especially from the 12th house, because it's like a, yeah, especially because it's like you can funnel that energy from the 12th into your Mercury, into but like sometimes the Aries Mercury can speak and think so fast, so it's about calming yourself down. For the, how many times have I said that? Like slow, the more you can slow yourself down, the better. And then Sun trine Uranus, I love that. I mean, that's the person that like has their sense of it's like an easygoing sense of individuality. Like they are themselves. They're not trying to be someone they're not, but at the same time, it's not in a way that's like pissing off other people, or like where it's like, you know, like how there's some people who like try to be so extravagant and different, but it's like you just look at them, you're just like, or people look at them and judge them, and they're just like, yeah, this person's trying too hard. No, this is someone who just like is who they are, and and people love them for it. You know, it's like that. It's about individualization, right? And as a Aries, you know, that's the warrior. So it's like it's not having that fear to be who you are and speak your mind. So as I was saying with Pluto in the ninth, right? I think it's really like also about questioning everything, you know, learning about tons of different topics. It's very smart people who have this usually. And also karmically, you can be have lots of past lives in lots of different cultures. So some people with this, they don't feel like so like kind of how I feel. I have it in the third house, which is interesting. It's the opposite house, but like I grew up in America. I'm half French, but I never felt American. Maybe in high school, I guess, but like ever since I like really grew up, I never felt American, you know, and I haven't lived there a long time. So yeah, just like the idea of not being overly attached to your views, right? And not like attaching your ego to your views. That is the biggest thing. But yeah, like it can be very strong communicator of their ideas, like a thought leader, someone who spends a lot of time studying, who's not, like I said, is all over your chart, not, you know, not satisfied with like the superficial explanations, like a very powerful probing mind. And just someone, yeah, who questions everything they're taught, right? Um, and their belief system undergoes that deep transformation throughout their life, which is amazing. You have that all over your chart. So this actually ties into a concept, or not concept, like an idea that I want to talk to you about. So when you have a chart like this, which is Plutonian energy, right? Scorpio, Pluto, eighth house. Oftentimes, especially if you're living where you grew up, or if you're around people that maybe knew you at a different, when you were a different version of yourself, you sometimes they try to pull you back into that old version. So it's very important for you to have boundaries with that, and to only be with people who, you know, want that who respect, and who want that and understand that that higher growing version, because sometimes people get intimidated and it's out of fear, even if they don't realize they're doing that, and they miss and they can get scared, especially if there's spirituality and understand it, and they try to pull that person back into that older, maybe like less mature version of themselves, and it can be a trap. So that's boundaries need even more. um so yeah. So yeah, I mean, like I said, like you can definitely be quite blunt in your way of kind of getting things across. So that's one of your life purposes, is to like get like find a way to like get that message across, get your messages across in a way that works. But sometimes sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Um, but yeah, there's a lot of times like I could definitely see you feeling quite misunderstood, right? Um, and yeah, like I always said, like really not feeling, and it doesn't always have to be nation. Like even though ninth house usually is nation, it can just be like, I think third and ninth house Plutos like just don't always feel like they belong where they were born. Like I grew up in Portland, Oregon. No, you used to be great. So yeah, the more you contact other cultures, the better, right? Um, so yeah, just always allowing your new teachers to come into your life. um Lifelong learner, right? Lifelong investigator. And like I said before, imposing your view on other people views is the one thing, right? And trying to like get power through your belief system, like the whole thing I just said about like having ego attached to it. At the end of the day, like for example, for me, like if I'm wrong about something and someone proves me in a respectful manner, right? I'm happy. I thank them. I say thank you, because now I'm closer to the truth. So yeah. So like yeah, like a shadow would be like the kind of person who like is dying on the hill for their belief, what they believe in, and like this other person's presenting them with like amazing evidence of like why they're wrong, but because their ego is so attached to this idea, right? They're just arguing, and it's just useless. It's just bullshit, right? It's like fanatical. So yeah, the positives, like being that inspiring teacher who can kind of question their old beliefs and replace them with newer ones when they need to. But like if you do find a lot of success in different areas like this, just to not become arrogant, right? um yeah, because then God can get mad. um I would say also like authority issues, is like issues with authority could be something with that too. And yeah, like also ninth house is like higher education. So a lot of people like with that, go to college and seek that out. So yeah. Um, okay. Let's see here. So I guess we could talk a little bit more about, let's see. Yeah, so I guess like with Uranus in the 11th, you would want to be friends with like more quirky types. You you know, it it would also give you a very nonconformist like life purpose, like um and you really want to find other people who are interested in the same topics as you and combine with those people, so not waste time with people. You know like you're drawn to people who might be looked at as like very unique, maybe even strange, eccentric, all that, but it's really about like you know and even like the internet, like you might have like an online tribe on the internet, right? Like Uranus rules that. So connecting with like-minded people in that way could be very powerful. um So yeah, the 11th house also, yeah, it's like your big life goals and how you achieve them, right? So you know, it's not everyday goals that interest you like the most people crave. Like you have a very unique vision. Um and I would say, let me think for a second. Like it's with the help of other people also. Like it's another thing about the Gemini North Node is that it's about like learning to network and find people, like knowing that I can't do it alone, right? I mean, you can, but like it's better. Like you're meant to do it with other people in this lifetime. So, like I said, South Node's there, so it could be lots of karmic friends that come up, but you have to allow the energy. You have to open up to those people. So yeah. So yeah, hold on one second. Yeah, definitely like very, yeah, very drawn to like kind of humanitarian ideals for sure. Okay, let me take a look at your chart again. Let me stare into. Okay. So yeah, so um I think like yeah, like spiritual protection, I already talked about that. Going more on your Jupiter introspection. I think I've pretty much covered most of it. I mean, yeah, it's definitely like an old soul like placement that has like that innate wisdom, um, innate maturity, loves time alone. They gain a lot from a time alone. So that's like why they, as a Pisces moon, you have to make boundaries and not allow people to always be around you, especially in relationships. Like you have to you know, like you might be like me where you need to like have sleep in your own room. Maybe that's an extreme, but because you have that Mars and Scorpio, which is very intimate. But yeah, so it's like you have lots of so the 12th house is interesting because it rules hidden enemies. So Jupiter actually can reverse that. Like and kind of reverse that kind of hostility and turn it into like protection. So it's really, really good, especially when you're doing type of work like the work I'm doing or whatever, right? Like spiritual work. Um, so you know, um, like because it's Jupiter in the 12th, it usually is it's actually nice. Like it's like a soul that was like very eager to come into this lifetime. Like as opposed to like a you know malefic, right? And basically I would say that yeah, anything, yeah, just like I said, like any like just really, really I don't know. For some reason, like because the 12th house is also like far away places. So, like you could really benefit from that with the Pluto and yeah, like getting out of the US potentially. Um, but yeah, very, very sensitive, as I said before, vivid, like a crazy imagination, not crazy, just amazing imagination. But usually like the Jupiter 12th house people, like they um yeah, like they can have like sensory, like I have sensory deficit disorder. I have Jupiter 12th house in the whole sign. So it's like they can have like quick like loud noises and stuff can really and just like being around lots of people, especially the Pisces moon, could be very difficult. So yeah, time alone is how you recharge, and it's so important. And it's how you in 12th house Jupiter, like you have such a strong intuition. So like following your gut feeling is really like the best because it's like your intuition is how your higher self is communicating with you. A lot of times it's through the gut, so you have to understand that in yourself, and it's like a muscle that you strengthen and you get better at, right? Because like I'm sure you like all of us have been in that situation where we, like let's say it's with a lover, like we have that initial intuition, someone we're dating, oh shit, something's off, or this is not gonna be good. But we go in anyways, and then in the end we were right, you know. So yeah, once again, I would say like Jupiter 12th house, amazing for meditation, like writing down your dreams, journaling. You have to journal. Um, but yeah, like once again, it's that balance between the inner life and the outer life with the Aries and Pisces. Um, so yeah, anyways, moving forward, let's see. Yeah. So with relationships, like I think that your ideal partner obviously is a Pisces moon. Like you need peace. Pisces moon and Venus, you need peace. You need someone that like you can definitely depend on. Like you absolutely can like it can sometimes feel like a soulmate or nothing type energy because of that Mars and Scorpio. So like taking things slow is important and just understanding that like people aren't always what they seem, right? But at the same time, like a Pisces moon is so sensitive that like if they're with someone that has lots of anger issues or you know that like where it's like a battle all the time, like they need a rock, I think, right? They need someone who understands them first of all, doesn't judge them even on an unconscious level, and or at least aims to understand them and has that empathy is a great is and that they feel really comfortable opening up to, like just energetically that person that you feel like you can be your inner child around. um for Pisces, that sensitive energy it's so important because like for example like I would say I used to um rap, and I was good. I still ain't good, but I was really good. I never did anything with it, but like so like as a Pisces, like there would be like let's say I'd be around certain people that like I know at the time energetically I felt really relaxed around them. I could go crazy. But then like the second someone who like whose energy like I didn't have a match with came, I would just suck. And I never noticed it, realized it until like I started getting into spirituality, right? So it's kind of that same energy in love, you know? Um but then also yeah, so it's just like someone who like even if there is like some not drama but like some it's Scorpio Mars, so some intensity, someone who's not going to escalate things to the next level, like yeah, not a pushover either, but someone who's not going to like really escalate. And I would say that Juno, which is like representing your marriage, like kind of marriage, like marriage, it's with your North Node. So like that's to me saying that you're destined for a certain partner, right? Or certain partners, whatever. But the point is that it's in Gemini. So it's fourth house Gemini. So that is really speaking about like someone who yeah, someone who you really are who gives you excitement and kind of like like your curiosity, and you're able to do things with them. Like it's not just boring in any way, right? Like there's lots of variety and stimulation, like lots of talking, exchange of ideas, studying, because you have all that energy in your chart, right? So you need someone who can also match that, but then also someone who metaphorically feels like they're giving you this metaphorical home, like they're like providing you with a very firm foundation, right? So yeah. Let's see. Part of fortune, first house, Aquarius. That to me is just like you are at your best when you're free. When you're not kind of following the kind of when you're nonconformist, and when you have like that independence and that self-sufficiency, and when you have that real spiritual relationship with yourself is what I always call it. I already talked about Black Moon Lilith, just like the need to not run away from your emotions and escapism, whether it's through drugs or whatever. Um, and yeah, you have series with your son, so that's like someone that's like you're a very nurturing person, like um, you know, and you're able to nurture your feminine and your masculine side, and you know it's just nice. It's like kind of getting into nature can be very beautiful, and just it kind of gives that Aries moon a little bit of that peaceful series energy. So yeah, mm, yeah, and then invest in Gemini, just kind of speaking about networking, and how important that is for you and your work. And once again, kind of with your North Node, like being able to kind of favor, you know, that type of communication that we spoke about. And yeah. In fifth house, I think it could also be like very dedicated to children, and even to like any kind of creative projects or outlets. So yeah, like I guess like the Mars Chiron, like just that one on its own is just like kind of self-sabotage, like you being your own worst enemy potentially. But I already said that, like, the more you look into yourself with the Virgo eighth house, like that's like how you kind of get away from that. But yeah, I would say it just early in life, it kind of feels like other people are kind of like opposing you in terms of you're trying to move forward, and it's like they're blocking you. Um, but really a lot of times it is reflecting like a self-sabotage of your own success, right? Which comes from like second house, you valuing really, really honoring your own worth, right? So and kind of like picking your battles wisely, right? Or not picking them at all, but not being a pushover at the same time. So whole sign, okay, just a little bit of how that changes. So like, the one, two, so the moon is in the third. And so all the Pisces in the third. So that just speaks to like, you finding your voice, your authentic voice, like your emotional voice, and how karmically that could have been a little bit shut down. Because the moon is also square the nodes. So that's actually something I didn't talk about. So it's like um in that sense, it's like one you could have karma with your mother in this life, but I don't always look at it like that. I think of it more as like ingrained emotional patterns from past lives that need to be worked through. So with Pisces, I think that it would make sense that maybe especially with Uranus, which on your south node, which can be so intellectual, right? You could be more like there's a need for you to express your emotions, Pisces moon in this lifetime. That's why you're a Pisces moon. It's because you're here to like get into your sensitivity, which maybe was held back in past lives. And then third house is about having avenues to communicate, avenues, not the right word, whatever, I don't care. Just like ways to communicate it, and not be afraid to communicate it to the world. And Venus would be someone who's a very, very beautiful speaker who can really speak with beauty. And then that would make your Aries fourth house instead of second. So like, yeah, that would just speak about the importance of kind of home life and of that spiritual relationship with yourself. And sort of like that balance between like not being like overly like career, even though that is all over your chart, but also kind of like the balance of like feminine, masculine, um, yeah, and just like um, once again that spiritual relationship with yourself, that internal relationship with yourself. You see the same themes appear. Um, and yeah, the Chiron would speak about like um the need to like let that inner child out more so, and you know and like maybe like how I if I was doing this whole sign I would have said something like maybe growing up you weren't allowed to like be in your inner child, you felt like you had to grow up too fast, something like that. So just being able to like have relationships where you can just be goofy and create, and then the north node would be six. So in that case, it would be like, just the importance of service and the importance of like, and this kind of goes with what I was saying earlier with the Virgo eighth house, the importance of like your day-to-day routine on a spiritual, emotional, physical, and every old level, and how that ties, how the little pieces tie to the grand picture, and not seeing everything as one big, like, like massive mountain, just a bunch of small bumps. So this is, yeah. I don't know. I never interpret like planets that are far behind the ascendant as first house, but yeah, I guess like Neptune, you could say would be like being able to like take your imagination and sort of place it in as a part of your personality, as your external personality, like take your imagination dream world and place it as a part of your personality. And Jupiter first house would just be like your expansion on an individual level, like you being like a very optimistic, outward optimistic person. And yeah, and then Uranus 12th house would just say a lot of what this was saying before, like just this very, very just like psychic downloads coming, which Neptune could in the Placidus chart could, it's different, but it can still have a lot of the same effect. And then, of course, the Mars would be the 11th, which would be like, you fighting for causes that you believe in a lot, which the Uranus already does. So you see, it still says the same story, basically, right? Um, but yeah, like I would say that like the 11th house gets really big in the whole sign, and it just ends up, yeah, but like the midheaven is still with Saturn, right? So it's just like um there could be like quarrels with friends, I would, if I was interpreting it like that. um you as a leader in your friend group, you have just having a lot of karma towards the collective, like where you're really trying to be of service, which goes with everything. It goes with everything I said. Let's see this real quick. Okay. So just a few fixed stars um in asteroids. So you have Fomalhaut, one of the four real stars on your moon with Vesta and Pisces. So this is like amazing, amazing. It's one of, like I said, one of the four real stars. And um I think it just, anything like it's hard to find information about Fomalhaut, but or just about stars in general, but like it's just the most like kind of ethereal, mystical, like psychic, spiritual, romantic, just out of this world. It's like divine inspiration. Um, so connect with your moon. Like I'm not an expert when it comes to these, but I can see what it says because there's a different connection. So they'll appear to be rather easygoing people, but they can be quite determined. However, they can be easily influenced by others they trust. This can have a detrimental effect on their well-being or finances, either of which could create lasting problems. These natives must be careful to avoid situations that create domestic problems. However, in general, such problems would be self-created and could, unless their partner is very congenial, create family situations of such nature that could not be easily resolved. Financial entanglement possible. And it says tied up with the moon, it's said to be quite marked. And this is also a splendid and illustrious life, great, distinguished, and opulent nature. Prince and Elvis are two celebrities that had it. Then it says secret business causing much trouble and enmity, but eventual gain after many difficulties. The separation is more benefic than the application. So yeah, and then let's see if there's anything on this one. Yeah. So that is essentially everything. Thank you so much. So I will send this, well, obviously, actually, really quickly, very, very important. So most people, so you have the follow-up, right? Let me just check. Um, so really, really important. So I'm going to offer you, so what nearly everyone does, I mean, it's kind of like you know, it's yeah, it's something that you wanna do. Basically, this is the natal chart. You get this done once in your life. I mean, maybe you want to try it from other astrologers, but whatever, right? For me, you never need to get it done again. It'll be the same in 5 years, 10 years, 2 years, 20 years, whatever. Current astrology is different. It's the now, the year plus ahead, kind of even a little bit in the past. There's like understanding the current energies for you, the energetic weather. So you have a follow up with me already. So you just have to message me. Email is better, jesseansinastrology@gmail.com. You can even just email me and say, hey, check my DMs. Um, so you have the follow up, which is an hour where we talk only about this. Now, very important is that you take notes because I'm not gonna remember anything, and like I will refuse. Um, I tell people now because I didn't used to tell them in the past, and sometimes I would get in situations where no one took notes, and it was like I had to like redo the reading. And it's just so much mental drain on me to do that. So it's like very important for you to take notes. You're the one who's like basically has the notes, and we're comparing like things I said with your lived experience and getting more clarity, cementing everything with the natal. So what most people do, and I'm going to offer it for 270 instead of like 360 or whatever it's worth, which is on sale already, is the current astrology. So it becomes a 3 hour session. Hour one is what we just talked about, the follow up, and then we move seamlessly into the current astrology where I talk about everything current astrology. That is solar return chart, progress chart, solar arc, the house ingress, the progressed lunar cycle. There's a lot of different predictive astrology, but I'm not telling you you're gonna meet your soulmate on May 28th. It'd be crazy if it happened, but it's deeper than that, and it's just a fun time. It's fun, and you learn a lot. You learn a lot, and you get a really really good sense of. And I tell people that they should come back each year, but at least doing it once after the nail reading to get like the full picture. So let me know. And most people watch this reading several times before booking the follow up. There's no follow up slash current. So yeah, let me know if you want to do both or if you want to just stick with only the follow up. And yeah, very very good. So that's about everything. And like I said, I highly highly suggest you add the current. So all right. Well, I did 136. No fucking way. Well, that's because I did, yeah, the 20, 30 minutes before. But anyways, thank you so much. Ciao, ciao.